Today is William and Kate's 4th wedding anniversary, but it's not all babies and celebrations in the royal family. Staff at Windsor Castle, one of the Queen's royal residences, have voted to take industrial action over low pay. So what's life really like for those in the pay of the royal household? Grant Harold, former butler to Prince William and the Duchess of Cambridge, joins me now. Grant, welcome to Going Underground. Let's begin with why it is we're in an occupation serving the royals where discretion is such an important component, that so many people want to talk to the media in the first place after working for them.
I think it's because, well, in my case, I'm very proud to have worked for them, and I enjoy telling people about my experiences because it was a fantastic time that I was there. And it's just to kind of help people understand why it is an amazing, for me, being a butler.
Do they like it, though?
I think because it's positive, it's not, and we're not here for any negative reasons, so I'm sure from that point of view, I'm sure they would from that.
Then it's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure, as long as we're not saying anything that we shouldn't. Then
do you detect that there's less interest in this second child, that may be the head of state of this country? There's less interest because it's not going to be the head of state unless something happens to Prince George, is it? Well,
I think, I mean, yes, I've noticed that it's not got the same hype as the last time. I think there was the Great Kate way or something before where you don't really hear that as much. I mean, it still gets talked about.
Well, you worked for them. What does the word royal mean to them?
Royal, I think the royals see it as it's a duty. It's something that they take on, whether you're born into it or you marry into it. It's something that you have to take on, and it's not easy. It's a huge responsibility.
Because we see the word royal on lots of elements of British culture, British society. The Royal College of Midwives going on strike on the 30th of April. People who deliver babies. Do you think they're aware of the royal insignia on so many institutions in Britain and think about that? Absolutely.
I think the thing about Britain, we're quite famous for the royal family. I mean, it's something that makes, somebody said to me recently, it makes Britain great as having a royal family. And so the word royal, yes, it is. It's seen as a sign of the kind of, I want to say good, you know, the best. I mean,
but we've executed royals here, of course.
We have, yes, absolutely. Not recently, thankfully.
But most countries, I mean, one would say that, you know, countries like France, where they obviously executed the royals, Russia, other countries execute their royals and then become mature democracies. What's different do you detect? And in the royal household, are they keenly aware of how that constitutional monarchy works within the British
absolutely. I mean,
system?
even today, you know, there's a lot of monarchies out there who, they're not monarchs because the countries don't have them as their kings or queens anymore. And I think, without question, from a personal point of view, I'm sure our royal family and government are fully aware that that's the situation, is that it's obviously down today, it's very much down to what people want, and at the moment, thankfully, the country seems to be in favour of having a monarchy, so we've got it. And going back to what you said with the royal, I mean, the royal family are seen as the kind of model family, aren't they? They're seen as the family that we all kind of look up to.
Usually it's divorce and, I mean, well, the royal family's famous for beheading wives, isn't it?
I suppose the thing is that...
Beheading wives, infidelity.
Well, yeah, thankfully they don't behead so much these days, I hope. I think it's evolved. I mean, obviously we live in a modern society where it's had to evolve. And as I say, I think they're fully aware that it's got to develop, and it's always going to be developing, and I'm sure, you know, when Prince George, when his time comes, it will be a very different royal family again. I think, as somebody said to me, they're becoming more and more approachable, and I can see that, I believe that. I mean, my experience of working for the royal family with younger royals, they're very approachable. But I think that's also having an influence on the older royals, because you kind of see that to my mind, they're also very approachable.
See, it's such diplomatic answers. That's because you teach etiquette after leaving this, this family. Just tell me, you teach etiquette to people, most of them are from Britain, but there's an expanding industry, teaching Russians, Middle Easterners and Chinese even, the virtues of British etiquette. Tea and a biscuit.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we're famous again for our tea, or for a British kind of culture of drinking tea. I was quite lucky. When I left the royal household, I was contacted by a royal who's actually a cousin of our royal family, Princess Katrina of Yugoslavia and Serbia. And
They abolished the royal family in Yugoslavia.
Well, they have, yes. So there isn't.
There was a partisan
crown prince
revolution against the Nazis.
I think there was. I haven't really.
Anyway.
But yes, I mean, so she lives in the United Kingdom, and she carries out other duties that royals carry out. But she also contacted me after I left the royal household and said, "Why don't we work together on royal etiquette?" And I thought, what better than to have a royal actually teaching etiquette with myself. So
do you think there's something middle class about etiquette? Because famously that Monty Python sketch, the upper classes, the working classes, they don't care so much about this. It's only the middle classes, maybe the meritocratic nouveau riche who've fought their way to the, some people say Kate Middleton's parents. They care about etiquette, but the vast majority of society doesn't care at all.
Do you know, it's funny, when you talk about with the upper class, for example, I mean, they've obviously, they're brought up with etiquette, you know, how to do things correctly and what to do, what not to do. So it's automatically part of their upbringing. Middle class, I would say, are very interested in it because there's majority of people, I think it's safe to say, that are in middle class. And I think there's a huge interest so that they do things in the right way. So if they get invited to a royal event or to a garden party...
They use Tupperware like the Queen.
Well...
That's the point. I'm just wondering whether it's all a big scam, because the Queen famously...
I think I read.
Doesn't work within
somewhere,
that Mitford.
I think I read somewhere, but because they're you know, this is the point. They're normal. They're not. They're like us.
They're not normal because the taxpayer funds their lifestyles.
I think, you know, with as I read about the Tupperware thing, and I mean, I use Tupperware. You know, you probably use Tupperware. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is they probably sometimes Tupperware is an easy thing to use.
Well, we heard it first. Grant Harold, thank you.
Thank you very much.